Hey everyone, welcome to the first ever episode of the Garland County Library video podcast, where your favorite library staff members are going to get together and have what I guess we can call an organized conversation. So tonight's discussion is going to be about the many notable people, be they celebrities or just prominent figures who died in 2020. And there were a lot of them this year. So, disclaimer, any opinions that we discuss here tonight are our own and they don't represent the Garland County Library's stance on anything. So, first, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Paul Kagebine, the adult program here at the library.
Karen Covey, circulation supervisor at the library.
I'm David Cooper. I'm the tech services supervisor. Hello.
Hello.
Carol, I guess.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, viewers. So the way this is going to work is each of us came prepared with a list of people that we want to acknowledge, and we're going to take turns picking from our list and discuss the lives and legacies of those people. So if anyone watching live wants to chime in at any time, I'll be happy to read off your comments. But, you know, this is a podcast, so we're being recorded, and most people who go on to listen to this are probably doing so hours or days later. So shout out to those of you who are in your shower or driving your car right now and listening to us in January.
You made it to 2021.
Yeah, congratulations. Well, we still have one more day. We don't
one more day.
Us, but them, future them.
Right. So it's been a long year for many obvious reasons, but it's easy to forget that before we even realized in March that there was going to be a life-changing pandemic that we're still going through, that there were 2 months of the year, and January and February feel like a lifetime ago. And last year was literally a decade ago. Had to make that joke. But the first death I want to talk about happened in those first 2 months of this year. On January 26th, that was the death of the NBA legend Kobe Bryant, who died at 41 alongside his daughter Gianna in a tragic helicopter crash. So the main thing I want to say about Kobe, he spent his entire 20-year career with the LA Lakers, and clearly based on the response to his death, he changed the lives of a lot of people, and he inspired kids around the world, both on the court and off it, to achieve their dreams. So after his death, the NBA put out a tribute video, and I'm going to play a clip of it if I can share my screen here.
Beloved by fans around the world, Kobe Bryant had transcended the game. He embodied excellence, achievement, and aspiration for millions of fans everywhere. And when it came time to write the final chapter of his NBA career, Kobe saved one of his most unforgettable performances for last.
Kobe Bryant, on the final night of his NBA career, scores 60 points. 6-0.
Man, to spend 20 years here, you can't write something better than this.
With his playing days behind him, he understood that all along, his single-minded pursuit of excellence was about much more than himself.
The most important thing is how your career moves and touches those around you and how it carries forward to the next generation.
Kobe.
Yeah.
A lot of people, there was a huge discussion like right after he passed about whether, because everyone said like Kobe, if they were throwing away like something in the trash or anytime someone threw anything. And, there's a discussion, is it disrespectful? Is it in remembrance? Is it more of like a memoriam, honor, And I always kind of felt it's more honoring him. I still say Kobe. Like that's still, I don't think that name or that action should die off.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, not many people can say they have a whole, motion that has their name that goes along with it.
There was talk about redoing the NBA logo with his silhouette. I was like, actually, I'm all right with that. I mean,
That was such a shocker because he was so young.
Yeah.
Such a tragic death with his daughter. I think that just
Yeah.
and other at 8 other people.
The daughter aspect was rough. Like, and then, you know, like everyone's like, where were you when Kennedy died? You know, and then it's still weird how seared into my brain it is where I saw the tweet that he died, you know, and I was just like waking up, like, oh, no.
Yeah, I remember a lot of that day for several hours, there was just so much misinformation. Like they didn't know that his daughter was in it, and there were rumors that other basketball players were in it. And it was just kind of chaotic, and everyone was just so shocked. No one knew how to react.
In the discussion is one of the greatest of all time. I mean, 5 championships, I think 18, like all pros or whatever, the all-star. I mean, 15-time member of All-NBA team, 12-time member of the All-Defensive team, 2008 most valuable player, 2-time NBA Finals MVP. Like, guy was amazing. Mamba.
Yeah, did you know why he went by the nickname Mamba?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, there was an article about it, and it was early on in his career. You know, there was a controversy and scandal, but he kind of wanted something to distinguish himself from that, and he got it from as a reference to the movie Kill Bill.
Oh,
Nice. And I like it. Yeah, in Kill Bill, there was that funny interaction between Vivica Fox and Uma Thurman about that name. Like, I should have been Black Mamba. You should have been. Kobe was a hard one. It was just caught off guard. You know, a lot of these that I wrote down or, you know, researched for tonight, they're all older, you know, and so while there's no good time to die, I guess, Kobe was shocking just because of how young he was, how successful he was, all the people involved in the crash, and then his daughter on top of it. It was just stacking up for, I think, a bad year. We should have read the tea leaves.
Right, little did we know.
Yeah.
All right, Karen, who do you got?
oh gosh, I've got so many. Well, the next month in February, Kirk Douglas died.
Yeah.
But he was over 100, so you know, kind of knew that was coming.
I read up a little bit on him. He was over 100. I think he was in a helicopter crash in like 91.
Yeah.
That almost debilitated him. And then in 1996, he had a stroke. And so Kirk was in Spartacus.
Yeah, he kept going.
He just kept on going. That guy. I love the Douglases. I mean, a lot of people say Baldwins are the Hollywood royalty, but I think Douglases were there a little bit before them. So
A few years
before them.
I don't have dates on mine, so I can't go in order like that.
I have a list of a lot of the birth and death dates, and he died February 5th. We don't have to go in order of when they died in the year, but yeah, he was 103.
He received the Medal of Honor on June 14th, 2002 from the University of California, Los Angeles. That's pretty cool.
And we have a book on him here at the library.
And then, so I said 91 was the helicopter crash, and then 96 was the stroke. I'm reading up on him. In 86, he had a pacemaker.
40 years ago. Well, 35 years ago.
Yeah, 35. So this guy, like, that he made it to his age is a testament. Like, that guy just lived forever. Yeah. I wonder if his son's going to do the same thing.
Well, he's had cancer and come back.
Yeah. His acting mentor was Gary Cooper.
Oh, I love Gary Cooper. But Olivia de Havilland, another actor, lived over 100. She was 103, 2, 1, over 100.
That's why, like, some of these, while this is a very sad topic and death is never, you know, I do get a little bit of hope by seeing some of these ages, you know. So if they were born in like the 20s, you know, or the teens of 19, it's like, all right, well, hopefully life expectancy just keeps on, you know, raising a little bit.
Yeah, they weren't shockers. I mean, they're still sad for people who they, you know, inspired or meant something to, but yeah, at least people had time to mentally prepare their families.
Yeah.
And fans.
Before this started, Paul dropped Jimmy Carter, and Karen and I almost were like, I was like, oh well.
No. But let's talk about the
That,
one
that, that did not happen. to
It
be
did not
fair.
happen. Disclaimer. Jimmy Carter's
I
still with us. But Don Wells today. Let's talk about today.
Today, Don
Mary
Wells.
Ann
In the 11th hour, we had another name to add to our list.
entry.
I had to do some quick research on her. October 18th, 1938 to today was Dawn Wells, or everyone probably knows her better as Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island. I did. She was my favorite. Like, I was always a Mary Ann boy versus Ginger.
Oh, yeah. Ginger's the only one left, I think.
And I found out that they hated each other.
Yeah.
They would not attend events together. They would not help each other with lines. They just hated each other so much. And a lot of people say it was because Ginger was getting jealous about how popular Mary Ann was. Because Ginger was supposed to be, the dame, the Hollywood damsel, and then everyone was like, I like Mary Ann.
And that's why they never got off the island. They couldn't work together.
Yeah. And then, Mary Ann had the professor, so she was also Miss Nevada in 1959.
1959.
So she was Miss Nevada, and she competed in the Miss America pageant in 1960, but didn't win. And from like 2004 on, she was the Idaho Potato spokeswoman. So there's a video that went viral of her in like 2010, and it was from the Idaho Potatoes about how to properly peel a potato. So,
She lived a full life.
yeah, did it all.
Did it all.
Did it all.
Spoiler alert, she won't be our last fast food or food mascot or spokesperson.
Ah, all right.
Ooh.
Coming in there with the hints, the
Yeah.
clues.
If anyone can guess who that is in the comments, you win bragging rights.
Yeah, and who was your favorite in Gilligan's Island? If we're not dating ourselves, like I realize now, Gilligan's Island was also about 50 years ago, 60 years ago.
No, we're not going there. It was only on for like 3 or 4 years. And I mean, in 55 years later, we're still talking about it.
Fun. One of the last facts I have on her and Gilligan's Island was the original theme song for season 1 ended with, I want to say like, it ended with somebody else, either Gilligan or the skipper, and it said, and the rest.
Yeah. Professor and Mary Ann didn't make it on that first season.
Yeah, and so they argued with the producers, and so they switched the theme song to where it incorporated her and the professor. So I thought that was.
Well, yeah.
You
That
gotta.
was popular.
Brent came prepared with the rapid fire trivia.
Yeah, sorry.
That's a good thing. That's
I did
I don't
bullet
have any
points
trivia.
a good thing. It's
for
okay.
all these
All
people.
right, Brent, who do you have? Name our next person.
I don't have a lot on this person, but I love him so much, and it's Fred Willard. Fred Willard, he's amazing, just as far as a comedic, standard. This guy was. I've loved everything from the old clips that I used to look up for him, up until he's in a brand new skit show called "I Think You Should Leave," and he still killed it. Like, he was in Modern Family as the father-in-law. So a couple of his movies: Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, This Is Spinal Tap. My favorite, Waiting for Guffman. He was in all the mockumentaries. And then he appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno over 80 times.
Oh, he was good.
He was good.
They
He's
say
funny.
Tom Hanks is America's dad, but I feel like Willard looks the role.
Yeah. I'd much prefer to hang out with Willard, and that says a lot, So, it's just amazing how he still had his finger on the comedic pulse. He was funny from the start to finish, and I love him. I love everything he's been in. And whenever I heard about him, it's like him, and whenever Steve Martin goes, that's going to be,
Oh,
those will be him and Steve. That's two of the legends, godfathers of comedy for me. Paul, what about you? Who do you got?
All right, next up, I have Bill Withers. That was a big one in July 4th. And actually,
Oh,
there's something about July 4th. I feel like 2 people passed on that same day. Maybe I'm wrong.
to go off on a holiday, like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, back Thomas Jefferson and John Adams.
Died on the same day.
Yeah. What
feel
did
like-
John Adams say? I die peacefully knowing Thomas Jefferson still lives.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Helen Reddy and Mac Davis, I think, died on the same day. Didn't they?
I don't know. There was a
Two
pair.
singers. Yeah, 2 singers died on the same day at some point
There
this
was
year.
a pair, and I thought I had it on my list, but I lost. Well, I'm sure we'll
I lost
figure.
my list, so
But yeah, Bill Withers, and I want to play a little sample of "Ain't No Sunshine" because that kind of applies to anyone when you have a loss, and even if it may have been written for a different reason, I think it can apply to this.
2020's theme song.
Yeah, exactly.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away.
Oh, yeah. Anything he touched was great. Like, it was just the 2 of us, Lean on Me, Lovely Day, Ain't No Sunshine, Use Me, Grandma's Hands. Like, it's just
Great catalog. We lost a lot of big musicians this year.
yeah.
Eddie Van Halen.
Eddie Van Halen was
That was a big
another
one.
one that was a surprise.
Yeah, that was young. He was really young. What was he? 51? No, 65.
Wasn't
Okay, a little older than I thought, but still.
Still, it wasn't. You weren't expecting that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what was it? Was it cancer?
Yeah, cancer. He got
Lung cancer? I didn't even know that was a thing. Sorry.
Yeah. It's a thing.
Oh boy.
Rough. I mean, any cancer's gonna be rough,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
got a little clip of Eruption ready too, just to show how phenomenal of a guitarist he is. Hope no one had their volume too loud.
I hope we did. That's the only way to celebrate Van Halen. Like, that was. I know our director's wife is a huge like metal, hair metal days, and that's probably a hard one for her right there. It's just Eddie Van Halen. I mean, it's just one of those where, Paul, like you said, like in my head, he was just so young, and now 65. It like as I'm getting there, yeah,
It's pretty young.
yeah, but it's weird to
It was
see
still
some of
tough.
your.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's well below the death expectancy or life
The Kirk
expectancy.
Douglas death expectancy.
Yeah. 13 number 1 hits and 13 number 1 hits. 7th band listed on the 100 rock artists of all time. He 2007 inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He deserved all that and more. It was just something amazing. Something amazing.
I have some of their albums, actual albums.
What are those?
Round things.
That's something that died a long time ago.
Did not.
They have vinyls. There is quite a market for them still. And
Yeah, I just bought the Odyssey by the Byrds, or that album, Adventures in Odyssey or whatever it's called. Gosh, sorry, like now it's Little Richard.
Pioneer.
Little Richard is
okay, I found out who died the same day. I was mistaken on Bill Withers. He was born on 4th of July. He died March 20th. So that was just a few days into the pandemic, and he died the same day as Kenny Rogers.
Oh, Kenny.
Good job.
Karen, I'm
Kenny
going to let you
Rogers.
take over for Kenny right there. Seems like your dude.
How old was Kenny? Kenny had to be up there. Kenny.
81.
81.
And I knew you were a Kenny fan, so I came prepared with a clip from that too, from The Gambler, of course.
Of course, The Gambler.
Of course, the Gambler.
Most famous.
On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness. The boredom overtook us, and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's faces, knowing what the cards were by the way they held their eyes. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're out of aces. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you some advice." So I handed him my bottle.
Well, we didn't even get the good part.
I know. I just wanted to tease everyone, so now it'll be stuck in your heads.
I saw him at Barton Coliseum back in the 80s, early 80s. During the high, he was big in the early 80s. He was big in the 80s. He was very big.
He's still, I mean, that song, The Gambler's going to be referenced forever. He's going to be remembered by, if not anything else, than by that song. I remember seeing his live duet with Dolly Parton of Violins in the Stream. That was, I think, my first memory of Kenny Rogers. And as a nerdy cataloger, that song, The Gambler, was inducted into the National Recording Registry of the Library of Congress in 2018.
Yeah. And Tiffany and Greg do a great rendition of it.
Oh, yeah.
Should have had them on here.
Who wrote that song? Somebody famous wrote that. Somebody. Hold on. You got it there, Brent?
Yeah, let's see. Don Schlitz.
Okay, never mind. I don't know Mr. Schlitz. But he's with the beer company.
He's earned 2 Grammys and was an inductee in the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2017. So he did The Gambler and You're the One Who Rewrote My Life Story. So back to back. It's 78 and that gem was 79. Everyone knows that little ditty.
Well, another bit, Charlie Daniels died. It was a hard year for country music. Charlie Daniels, Charlie Pride.
Oh, Charlie
We just lost him about a month ago.
Yeah. Charlie Daniels going is just, I don't know.
That's like the most iconic
Yeah.
fiddle music in The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yes.
No
That
disrespect,
everyone mainstream knows.
I thought he was dead already, but whenever it happened, I think on KUHS checked out on Thursdays 8 to 9. I played Devil Went Down to Georgia. That's the song. Like, hey, what's the song with the fiddle? Well, there's one. There's one. Yeah.
Charlie Pride, he died.
Don't be named Charlie in 2020. Just change your name. Change your name for one day.
John Prine.
John Prine.
He was
I think that was the first big one of COVID.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah, it's the first one I remember. And then, of course, today, Don Wells passed from COVID, sadly.
Oh, was it COVID? I didn't even know that.
I want to give a shout out to my uncle Mac, who passed away yesterday from COVID. So, Aunt Sharon, I love you.
Rest in peace.
Sorry, so sorry.
I'm not bringing it down. It's all right. Let's go.
Let's go.
What do we want to talk about?
You mentioned Little Richard.
Oh yeah, Little Richard. I love Little Richard. I've loved Little Richard from like whenever I was a little kid. He used to do this Disney show where he would redo his songs. And then the second that I saw the live video of him doing Long Tall Sally, I was hooked. Like I love Little Richard. A Crazy Life. Let's see here. From December 5th, 1932 to May 9th this year. His real name was Richard Wayne Penniman, and he was nicknamed the innovator, the originator, and the architect of rock and roll. He was inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. But the guy had a crazy life. Like he was openly, I think, like bisexual, and then he had a period of years. So that was like in the 50s when he came out in that, and that's just crazy unheard of. Not only is he African American, but he comes out as bisexual, and it's just like, all right, man. And so, but then he was a born-again Christian from 1958 to 1962, and there was this manager over there in Europe that had knew about Little Richard and wanted to get him back in the action. And so he called him up and was like, hey, I want you to be one of my mainliners in Europe for this European tour, and I have this band that can open for you. And it was the Beatles. and so he had this back and forth just throughout his whole life. He struggled with, who he was, what he was, who he loved. And I think it's safe to say that around the world, we all loved him. I love Little Richard. To me, he was the birth of like rock and roll. A lot of Elvis or Richard, and I think Elvis took a lot from Little Richard. So I think he was the first for me. Little Richard.
Little Richard.
Who you got, Karen?
Who do I have? Oh gosh. What about Chadwick Boseman?
Oh,
another sad young person.
Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
That was a surprise. I mean, that was.
No one. Yeah. That was immediately whenever I heard about that. So I'm a big Marvel fan. I'm a Marvel fanboy. Followed it all the way. And there was a red carpet gallery, and someone asked him to like do the Wakanda Forever, and he kind of did it like lazily, and then the press and critics just tore into him. I mean, said like he doesn't care about the role. Look how disinterested he is, and it was just one of those like stark contrasts of you don't really know how much a person's suffering or how much of a face that they put on for other people.
Exactly.
And it was so sad. Like I just immediately thought back to that one interview where they just raked him over the coals. And cancer, man. Cancer.
Yeah,
that's probably the one that affected me personally the most when I heard the news. Because like you, Brent, I'm a huge MCU fan. That stands for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, yeah.
And his contributions are probably the ones I'm most attached to. I mean, it was just really shocking. And I mean, he was kind of the embodiment of so many famous Black icons through his work, like Jackie Robinson, James Brown, Thurgood Marshall, and then of course, he's Black Panther is the world's most beloved Black superhero. So, that's something that it was just a cultural behemoth. It grossed over $1 billion, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes, one of the only superhero films ever to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. And after he passed, Marvel posted a tribute video to him, and towards the end of it, it shows him speaking to fans in his own words about his response to their love. So I'm going to show that real quick. I do recommend watching the whole video. It has some of his colleagues in the Marvel movies, fellow actors that have kind words to say as well. Is my audio playing?
No.
Okay, let me try that again. Technical difficulties was bound to happen.
Yeah, I love Black Panther. Just it's not going to be the same.
At times, in my head, I'll be like, well, what does this do for the world? Like, actually, what is it
You know, is it actually valuable in this climate? And I have to say, yes, it actually is. Not because it makes people escape. I think when done right, it gives people hope. I found that it means a lot.
Wakanda forever. I'm really happy with the way direction they're going with in the movie casting a sister as the new Black Panther, and there's something I showed Paul earlier. I'm not a Fortnite fan. I don't really get it. My nephews probably love it, but they did something really neat where they got all the Marvel characters in Fortnite, and they did the Wakanda salute, and I thought that was really neat. But no, his story is just, you don't know how much someone's suffering just from outward appearances.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much,
kept it so private.
yeah. I mean, he was 43, but that's the thing, is that like people saw him as Black Panther, and it's, you know, this skin tight suit, and he's just muscled up, and you know, Jackie Robinson at 42, and he's big, and he started in these 21 Bridges. He's this action star, and then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, you just heard that he passed, and what? He was so healthy,
so young, young.
43. That's sneaking up. Oh, and we have I think we have all these movies at the library too. So
yes,
if people want to check them out, use your library card.
But like you said, I'm very glad they didn't replace him in that role, because that would have been,
yeah,
that would have been awful. That would have been just, no.
I don't think there's any way that you could have done.
No, not had any respect for the actor and all he put into it.
There was another kind of superhero personality that died this year, Joel Schumacher.
Yep.
August 29th, 1939 to June 22nd, 2020. He directed Falling Down, Batman and Robin, The Lost Boys, A Time to Kill, The Client, St. Elmo's Fire, Flatliners, and the music video, The End is the Beginning is the End by Smashing Pumpkins. I love Schumacher. People hate Batman and Robin, and even he did too. He had a different vision, and he went to Hollywood and said, I'm a huge Batman fan. I want to do Frank Miller's Year One. And they said, no, you get Robin. Like, you get this movie. And so he did it, and after it came out, he actually apologized to fans. Like, this wasn't like
not the best.
Yeah. I directed it. I don't like it. I get why you hate it. I understand. Here to lighten the mood a little bit about Joel Schumacher, I found this funny, and I found a couple different sources, so this is as accurate as I can get. He claimed to have had between 10,000 and 20,000 sexual partners.
In the year of COVID.
Yeah, so
just not sanitary.
My favorite from him is probably Lost Boys or Falling Down. No, those are classics.
Good time to remind everyone, anyone tuning in live right now, any opinions we state tonight represent our own and not the library.
Yeah, that's what he said. I didn't say it.
No, I know that's just a trivia point, but in case we say anything that's an opinion and not trivia.
Oh, that was my opinion about
that offends anyone.
Thanks, Brent.
Yeah. That's why I'm building this elaborate net to catch you and Paul into something.
Controversy.
I'm gonna jump in this cancel culture and get my name on there somehow.
Well, let's talk about the big one, Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
He was 90.
It was a surprise, even though he was 90 years old.
Yeah.
It was such a surprise. I mean, it's Sean Connery. It's James Bond.
It's James
the most
Bond.
famous James Bond.
You know, him in that Speedo and yeah, you know, like the red. What was that called? Something Z.
Sexy.
Yeah. Sexy. I love Sean Zardoz. One of the worst movies ever, but still. He's been in so many things. Like it Oh, and he's like the voice. His voice was so unique. It wasn't it wasn't like Scottish. It wasn't American. It was like Sean Connery had that voice. He was like Katharine Hepburn, or Katharine Hepburn has like, well, she's kind of Atlantic. Sean Connery, well, it's just Sean Connery. Like that's
Yes, that was a big one for me with Sean Connery.
Yeah, Sean Connery. I love him in The Rock. as bad as that movie is, I love it.
Pretty bad movie. Untouchables. He was in the Untouchables with Mr. Costner.
Yeah, and somebody else, was that Schumacher? So that might tie in there. Yeah. Sean Connery was huge. Although he quit acting here recently though, or like here in the past, like he just stopped. That was just what he's like. No, I'm done. I have enough money. This is. I love it. What else? I'm trying to find like all my stuff about him.
Then somebody else from the James Bond movies died. A lady.
Oh,
Honor. What was her name? Honor somebody. From one of the early James Bond movies. She passed away too, and I've forgotten her name.
He was one of the only 2 actors to appear in Thunderball and Never Say Never Again.
Thunderball.
Yeah, in 2008, I guess that's when he stopped. He bought basically an island in the Bahamas. Well,
I'll go here and die, and that's what he did.
In Italy, he was known as Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Excellent.
Yeah. And he was a competitive bodybuilder.
Yes.
He was young.
In the early days, yes.
Yeah.
I've seen those pictures.
Karen.
Yeah, I like Sean Connery.
His remains, he was cremated, and his remains were scattered throughout Scotland.
Oh.
So that was pretty neat. Oh yeah, Goldfinger co-star Honor Blackman. So yeah, 6 months after she died, that was when. Oh, and his disability pension from the British Navy was 9 shillings a week, and he got that until this year. So don't get cheap on us, British Navy.
Just in case he ran out of money, he would have that.
Yeah, give it to the less fortunate. And this kind of ties in. One of my favorite SNL bits ever is the Jeopardy.
Yes, the Jeopardy.
Where it was Sean Connery, whoever played Sean Connery and whoever played Alex Trebek, they just hated each other. And that
was a funny clip. That was a great clip. And I don't watch SNL, but that was a very funny clip.
Like Burt Reynolds, it was always so good. And it's kind of as sad as it is, it's kind of fitting that
Alex Trebek.
Yeah. Him and Alex kind of went out on the same year.
Yeah.
So that was
good segue in the Trebek, because I actually have a friend who went on and won big on Teen Jeopardy back when he was a teenager. So shout out to Leo Cooper and his awesome hair. He said it's okay to use this clip that I'm about to show. And I think it's also a really good example of the great sense of humor that Alex Trebek had, and that really came through on Jeopardy. So get that ready and we'll take a look.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's the guy on the right.
And this is the clue.
Audio good?
Mm-hmm.
On June 6th, 1944, he said, "The eyes of the world are upon you." 30 seconds. Good luck, players. Barrett, we come to you. You were in 3rd place today with 9,000. What did you write down as your response? Who was Dwight David Eisenhower, Supreme Allied Commander for the forces invading Europe? You are correct. What did you risk? 9,000. That gives you 18,000 today. Yesterday, you had 17,600. That gives you a 2-day total of 35,600. Let's go to Neeli now. He had 14,400 today. And he wrote down and changed his mind. He went to Winston Churchill, then FDR. So it's going to cost you how much? 7,000. That leaves you with 7,400 today and gives you a 2-day total of 26,400. Now we go to Leonard Cooper. He's looking pretty happy. Why? Did he come up with Ike? Dwight David Eisenhower?
No, I didn't.
You didn't. Same guy, same but I just won for 75,000. You did indeed. Way to go. Go on over here. Oh,
That's awesome.
one of the things I love about the team tournament is these guys have marvelous senses of humor. Back to
That hair's glorious too, by the way.
Yeah.
That is.
Who was some guy in Normandy?
Well,
I mean, technically, like, that was Trebek, though. You know, that was. I still, to this day, will play. Whenever I'm folding laundry, I'll play with my Amazon Echo, the Alexa app. We'll do Jeopardy, and it's him with the voice hosting. You know, and but I'd watch it every day. Whenever I got home from school, my grandmother put me in front of the TV with my twin sister, and just like, this was 80 years old, pancreatic cancer. I think pancreatic, it might be colon.
I think it was pancreatic.
Yeah. But like, he's just, he was, and I believe he was born with, so he had a mustache, you know, forever. And it was over, like, due to like a cleft palate. And so he was basically like the primary sponsor for Smile Train. And he paid for so many hundreds and I think like thousands of children to have cleft palate surgery that couldn't afford it. And then whenever it was really successful in the early aughts, he shaved off the mustache. So you got to see, you know, but God among men, that guy. I love Alex Trebek.
He was a staple, you know.
Yeah. And now, you know, now there's this run on who's going to replace him. You know, so they have like Ken Jennings. He did it for a few weeks, I think. And my favorite vote was Reading Rainbow.
LeVar Burton.
LeVar Burton. Yeah. I like, if
He
anybody
would be awesome.
Yeah, like there's only so many people I can get to replace Trebek for Jeopardy, and Jeopardy not just implode completely.
Right.
Like, and I like how snarky he was.
He didn't care.
Yeah, and for those of you that we can't show the clip of, go find Alex Trebek off the air, and just have fun with that. Because it's funny.
Well, we lost another big game show host in 2020, Regis Philbin.
Oh, yeah.
Regis and Kathy Lee.
Regis is one of those that I thought would live forever. I like, no matter how old was he when he passed this year?
88.
88, yeah. I thought he'd be another Kirk Douglas. That guy was just everywhere. You know, he was morning show, and even in the late aughts and teens, he was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and
He was always on David Letterman. When David Letterman was on,
yeah.
they always had this thing going.
Regis Philbin, and one of my favorite sitcoms ever. He was on How I Met Your Mother, and he played this like ultra strong like superhero. Like, I just Regis is one of those. You hear his voice, and it's like, okay, well, I'm ready for whatever. Like, he seemed so affable, you know. He seemed very friendly.
Who wants to play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
I'll
Sure.
be here, Barry.
All right, for 100. I'm not even going to give you guys the multiple choice.
Oh, go for it.
For $100, which continent is Ghana located in?
Ghana? Which continent?
It's across the bridge.
Yeah, it's got Africa.
Correct.
Oh, Brent, college boy.
I was like, is this some trick that like?
For $200, which Sesame Street character is known as the Grouch?
Oh, baby, that's Oscar. Get a
Got it.
job, Grouch.
God, you're just killing me here.
For good thing, real Who Wants to Be a Millionaire isn't like this. Just
Yeah.
first one for $300.
This is Jeopardy rules with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
but-
combining the two. How touching. Which organ produces a liquid known as bile?
Liver?
Yeah.
That's right. It's the liver. For $400,
Ooh.
which country has the largest population in the world?
Oh, that's one of two for me. I want to say India.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait till what Karen says.
I'm always going to go with India.
It's China.
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 I was like, it's
All right.
China or
Well,
India.
India, so
You guys only made it to 300.
I didn't make any of it, so I'll
You go home with nothing.
Never a thing.
What else? Let's see here.
Well, who's the authors that died? Mary Higgins Clark died this year. She was a biggie.
Yeah.
Charles Portis, who was from Arkansas.
Oh, Arky. We were trying to figure out, like, right before. And for everyone watching at home, we came up with our own list. Like, I didn't talk to Paul or Karen about who I was going to discuss or little tidbits I was going to get. And so, like 10 minutes before, which is like how preparation works, we were just like spouting off names. And I'm like, okay, did any like local die that like who's
in blind?
Yeah, Mary Higgins Clark is probably the biggest author of 2020.
Clive Cussler died.
Oh yeah.
And Jean Le Carre.
Oh, that's right.
Boy.
Never mind. I take it all back. It's him, Jean Le Carre. He was my. For those that don't know, he wrote like all the George Smiley novels. Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy was him. He was actually an agent in MI5 when he was younger, and so whenever he grew up and started writing, because he started writing super late. Jean, I think he was like in his 50s or 60s when he first started a George Smiley novel, and so that's why it's so accurate. And yeah, see, that's like there's so many people in 2020 that every time that I went down a list, I couldn't like it was always somebody I left off, and Jean Le Carre was that's the biggest author for me. That's a sad one. I love it. My first Kindle that my mom bought me, that was the book that she pre-ordered for it, was Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Like that was. Thanks, Mom, if you're watching. Love you.
And we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh yeah,
Notorious RBG. Let's see. Nominated by Bill Clinton, she replaced Byron White. She was the first Jewish woman and only the second woman to serve on the Supreme Court. And she spent much of her legal career as an advocate for gender equality and women's rights. I was going to say, until this morning, and I talked to Paul about this, like, what's the most impactful death of 2020? Like, regardless of, we're obviously not going to get into politics. We're not going to do that. We're here, to remember. But for a few days, I was going to pick RBG. And then I changed it. And whenever we get to that, I'll talk about it. But RBG, that's like her death was so impactful across many different, I don't know,
the whole spectrum of
levels.
Different levels. It was, regardless if you were whatever, Ruth going out was a surprise and the start of something, that probably a lot of us would rather not happen.
Well, I have a video it's a compilation of different quotes that she had throughout her time in the public spotlight. So I'll play that real quick. Maybe. There we go.
I, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. A system of justice will be the richer for diversity of background and experience. It will be the poorer in terms of appreciating what is at stake and the impact of its judgments if all of its members are cast from the same mold. The 14th Amendment confers citizenship on all persons born in the United States, and it commands, no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges and immunities of the citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deny to any person the equal protection of the laws.
What advice would you give a young woman entering the law profession as an attorney or a law clerk?
You will have a skill that will enable you to make things a little better for your community, your state, even your world, with the skill that you will achieve attending law school. I hope that all of you will spend part of your time thinking about people who need your help and offering it.
If you could change one thing about the Constitution, what would it be and why?
I would add an equal rights amendment to the Constitution.
What gives you the most hope for the future?
My granddaughters. I'm very proud of my eldest granddaughter, who is a lawyer. She and other young people like her, I think, will help us get back on track.
Okay.
Oh, she's so tiny.
Tiny. I'm not being disrespectful, but in that first clip, one of the guys looked like Wilford Brimley.
All right.
If you look at the guy, he did. I was like, that's Wilford Brimley.
Wasn't that her husband?
Was it? No, the guy. No, the other guy.
Wilford Brimley was her.
no, the guy looked like it.
You got to look at the first clip, and it was just like the guy that must have been a judge of some type. He looked like Wilford Brimley, I thought.
Which also passed this year.
Yes.
My favorite.
He looked better than that though in that clip.
No, here's the funny thing is that so like I found like I love Wilford Brimley anyway, and everyone like my age is gonna know him like diabetes. But my so he was the Quaker Oats face.
Yes.
Was that the second food person, spokesperson?
Yeah, Quaker Oats.
Yeah, Quaker Oats. Here's my favorite tidbit out of everyone that I researched. Wilford Brimley is old enough and big enough to have been Howard Hughes's bodyguard. So like that just blew me away from then on. And then I started to search Wilford Brimley young, and I guess he's just always looked like that. He's never been anything else. Just mustache, big. He was a farmer and rodeo rider.
Rodeo rider, yep.
And then whenever he gained weight, he couldn't really do the rodeo anymore. He became a blacksmith, and then later on, and like
became an actor.
He became an actor, like in his mid or late 40s. He's like, well, all right, I'll do it.
He was one I thought had already died, actually.
Yeah, Wilford Brimley. I was like, oh, all right. He had a good run.
Yeah,
he had a good run. But that Howard Hughes. So like Howard Hughes is one of my favorite icons of all time. And Wilford Brimley, let's see, September 27th, 1934 to August 1st of this year. And so Wilford Brimley, I guess, was just young enough and just studly enough. Howard Hughes just like, all right, I'll take him.
And Howard Hughes died in the 70s.
Yeah, I love Howard Hughes. Love Howard Hughes.
Well, you're D.B. Cooper, so.
What else? What are we getting to? Brian Dennehy, kind of same thing.
Yeah.
Co-star with Wilford Brimley.
Thought he was dead.
Yeah, I did not know. He won 2 Tony Awards as Best Actor in his only 2 nominations, which I think, and the guy that wrote Phantom of the Opera, can't remember his name right now, but he said that there's only one person, or not Phantom of the Death of a Salesman.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. There's only one person that could be him, and it was Brian Dennehy. And so yeah, now like if someone says Death of a Salesman, I only see Dennehy.
Really?
Yeah. And I guess what's her name? Ronan Swarcy, the Irish girl. He called her the best actor he's ever seen. So that was like within a few years ago. I want to say Saoirse Ronan. Saoirse Ronan. I don't know.
Well, we're not running out of names, but we're starting to run out of time.
Oh.
So let's all go around, give our final words. Karen, you go first.
Oh, I don't have any final words.
Okay.
I don't know. There was
anyone we missed or just.
Well, we missed Jerry Stiller from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
If you remember him.
Love him.
And Carl Reiner and Buck Henry, and they're all in their 90s. So.
Carl Reiner was that's the second name that I researched was Carl Reiner.
Really?
And in Toy Story 4, just last year, he was Carl Reiner-Oceros. I love Carl Reiner. He directed Oh God and maybe the funniest movie of all time, The Jerk.
Yes, that's right. The phone books are here. The phone books are here.
No one hates these cans. If you haven't seen The Jerk, it's Steve Martin at his pinnacle. It is the funniest movie.
It's hilarious.
And Carl Reiner was the director, and he just brought from 1950 to 1957. He was on Your Show of Shows and Caesar's Hour with Sid. This is like how this group was like so close together. So he was with Sid Caesar acting with him, and that's where he met up with Mel Brooks, Paul Simon, and Woody Allen. And so those two shows, and it was just, and they Mel Brooks and him were friends to the day he died. I think they'd see each other like every day or call each other. And so that's why we were saying earlier, I think Mel's probably not long after, which would be a bad one. All right. Well, this is gonna get weird, but I said like the most impactful death, and for like a week it was Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But I think the most impactful death are multiple deaths in 2020, and that would be every person that died and raised the Black Lives Matter movement. So I mean George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor. Those are the three, I guess, big ones in 2020. And it started back in 2014 with Eric Garner. There's too many. I started researching these names, and there was just too many. But I mean, for months. I mean, George Floyd died on May 25th, 2020. Breonna Taylor was March 13th, 2020. From then on, it was months of just people in the streets. There was police action. There was, and none of it got resolved. It was just got pushed down. But as far as impacts, I'd say BLM in 2020.
Absolutely. I mean, those were the largest, most widespread series of protests around the world since the civil rights movement in the 60s. So there's no doubt that kind of, other than COVID, that was probably the dominating, event or that happened during the year.
And that's what I mean, like it took up, it was the entire, spring to fall. And it's like, okay, what's 2020 boiled down to? And it's like, well, it's COVID. There was almost World War III in like February. Australia caught on fire, and then I was like, well, BLM, that was still going on. And so it's just impactful. That'd be my impact death.
Absolutely. And I also want to take a moment to honor all the victims of the pandemic. I mean, it's taken the lives of 2 million people around the world, almost 350,000 Americans, 3,500 Arkansans, and its death count is far from done. But I'm thankful we're ending the year with some cause for hope. I mean, there's 2 or 3 major vaccines being distributed.
Coming,
It's going to take them weeks or months to have any kind of impact, but it's still going to save lives. So we're ending a terrible year with some hope that there's an end in sight. And I also want to express my sympathies to anyone listening that has lost a loved one or been affected by this in any way.
Exactly.
And there's so many, like, I had stuff for Ennio Morricone.
Oh yeah,
greatest soundtrack
Good,
artist,
Bad, and Ugly.
composer of all time. We didn't even do Neil Peart with Rush.
Yeah.
I was gonna do Ennio Morricone, but I've never heard his name said out loud, so I didn't want to.
Ecstasy of Gold is still something I have on my playlist. Like Good, the Bad, the Ugly. It was just like if you saw a Western, no matter how old you are, he probably wrote the music for it.
Yeah, he was like the John Williams of his age.
Yeah, it's Diana Rigg, Ian Holmes, Sam Lloyd. That's the thing is that whenever we
John Lewis.
John
Lewis.
John Lewis. That was, yeah.
Speaking of the civil rights movement,
Yeah.
he's one of the big six on the March on Washington.
You know, Brent Carroll tomorrow. And
Don't say that. Can I have your desk?
Yeah. So it was a rough year. It was but you're right, there's some good stuff going around. Wear your mask, people. You know, don't get mad at people working in a place if they ask you to wear your mask. And believe us, we're in here 8 to 10 hours wearing the mask, you know, sanitizing everything. So just be a good sport. You know, I'm a history guy, so I see all the stuff that they did in 1918, and you know, it's like they got rid of all luxuries just so no one could get sick, and they boarded. My great grandfather sat on his porch with a gun in Worcester, Oklahoma, protecting his family. You know, like, and now it's like I have to wear this. So please wear a mask. Be safe. New Year's Eve is tomorrow. Don't go out if you can. Spend it with me. I watch Twilight Zone Marathon every year.
Be safe. Be safe.
All right. Thank you, everyone. If you're watching live or you're watching a month from now, hopefully 2021 is a better year.
It's going to get better.
Let us know if you have ideas for topics on future podcasts. They can be as depressing as this one was, or maybe something more fun. But I had a lot of fun, and I'd love to do something like this again. So,
yeah,
signing off. We need a good sign off. Like, I need a catchphrase to end these with.
I guarantee no one's dead in 2021.
That won't age very well. Oh, Brent, tell them about your radio show.
KUHS 102.5 or KUHSradio.org. Thursdays from 8 to 9 a.m. I host with Rootin' Tootin' Aaron Baber, and it's called Checked Out. And we talk about the library and different things going on and pop culture stuff. And tomorrow we're going to talk about the movie Disturbing Behavior that I have to go home and watch tonight. So listen to it and follow us on Instagram at checkedout_KUHS. And of course, all the Garland County Library stuff.
What he said. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Take care. Be safe. Happy New Year. Till next time.
Happy New Year.